Synchronized boopading.
Hey, Patreons. Have we got a show for you today? We've got an interview with a very special guest, actually two guests.
Yes.
That will be up shortly. Therefore, you'll actually get to see us stop and dial it.
Yeah. Well, no, but the worst part was like right before we hit record, the microphone was "Nope, my no." But
that's it. And we have a special backdrop here, but we'll talk about that in the show.
Yeah.
But I think this will be one of our better shows.
I hope so.
I hope so.
I was putting quarters in that phone as fast as I could. We'll get to that joke here in a minute. Why does this sound so terrible to me?
I don't know. It sounds okay to me.
This is it.
Did you put more quarters into your headset?
Apparently I didn't. I don't know. We'll move it on. Okay.
So.
Oh, yeah, I'm already booped. Yeah. I'm supposed to start it?
Why not?
Okay. Hey, Jeepers and Jeepettes. Welcome to another fun-filled, exciting adventure of On the Trail with Kevin and Scott. I am your slapstick parts host. I am on a continual mission to still stumble using that exact same phrase. It will never stop. Let you know I'm alive. I'm the one vigorously putting quarters in a cell phone and my headset and not having the microphone going up my nose. So with that, I will turn it over to my main man with the torque wrench in his hand, Kevin, the engineer.
Hey, folks, as he mentioned, I'm Kevin, the engineer, the guy who reads instructions, follows the instructions, and, oh, God, you know, he got himself a new board last show, and you guys heard a little bit. He is now got sound effects at his fingertips and abuses them regularly. So I send any snide comments or even good comments to Scott, not me. I'm not controlling the board and the background noises. Hey, first thing I will do is a little public service announcement and a little bit of grumping. After I spent quite a bit of time this weekend trying to figure out how to write my Jeep off as a tax deduction.
He was like the dad with the desk, all the receipts and all that, going, can I take this off? Can I claim this?
Yeah. Is this a business expense or a recreational or a dependent? I kind of think it falls in the dependent. But if you haven't seen, as of the show release notes that was just on CNET, that the tax is no longer the 15th. The tax day is now the 17th of May for this year. Yeah. So our little logo is for the moment sporting a stack of cash, which I don't know whether it's being paid or being returned.
Look at the Jeep's eating it.
Well,
nom, 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 nom.
That's normal. Yeah. Whether it's tax, in or out, it's the Jeep still consuming any available funds. So just go back and check before you have a heart attack that, oh, my God, I've got to get my taxes done. Maybe you have a buy for a little while.
Yeah, that was me. I was trying to get a copy of the receipt from buying the Gladiator because we lost the thumb drive that had all the paperwork on it. And I had to walk in there and bow my head going, Carlos, help. And he started laughing. He goes, yeah, I got you taken care of. Come here. I'm like, thank you.
Well, what's going to happen on this show? This is a really neat show. Part of the reason we have this new equipment is it allows us to do telephone calls and telephone interviews. And Scott's inaugural telephone call, we were contacted by a company. I'll mention them in a moment, but, got to do that drama lead in. It makes Scott happy.
Building tension.
A major company in the off-road world who wanted to help us and let us help them by releasing a new product and new technology live, which is why you're listening to this show. If you caught the news flash that Scott will hopefully put out later on the interwebs, is coming out 10 days early.
Yeah.
And if you waited to the 15th to find out that the taxes aren't due, you're really going to hate me.
Oh, I just realized that. Please send all tax hate mail to.
Yes. But we're going to cut away here for a minute, if so to speak, to let Scott dial up the phone and connect this new Techno Marvel board.
Let me get the quarters.
Yeah. And we're going to get on the phone with none other than Dominic Wycott, the president of Mickey Thompson Tires, along with his senior project manager, Ben Anderson. And they're going to tell us all about a new product and that they're getting ready to release today, the 5th of April, which is the day where this show is being released. Yeah, I can't really add much because we haven't done the interview yet.
Exactly.
Kind of exciting if you haven't figured it out.
Yeah.
So anything you want to add before we dial phone, because we're running out of time?
I want to dial this phone and see what they have to say. I'm excited.
I want to see if all this electronic gobbledygook you put together actually works.
Looks, as I've always said several times, looks like Darth Vader's bathroom.
So
Toot, toot.
anyway, let's dial the phone.
All right.
Good morning, Kevin here.
Good morning, Kevin. Dominic Wyckoff. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing really good. Dominic, how are you doing this morning?
Fantastic. Sun's shining and it's Friday.
Absolutely.
And where is the sun shining? And not to be crude and rude and unsocially, but
Currently sitting in Northeast Ohio, so we'll take sun on a Friday.
oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Northeast Ohio. Whereabouts?
About half hour south of Cleveland. So Stowe, Ohio is where the corporate headquarters.
Ah, okay. Great. No, I used to be over in, spent a lot of time in Steubenville in that area, so that's why I was asking.
Well, no worries. Yeah, actually, I live right over just south of Youngstown.
Okay.
So I drive about 70 miles one way to the office.
Okay, you definitely beat me. I wasn't commuting quite that far when I was working in Washington, D.C. at the Pentagon, so I was doing it from out in Loudoun County, Northern Virginia, if you know that area, out by past Dulles Airport. So, hey.
It's not the miles. It's just the traffic. It's just god awful.
Yeah, whoa, yeah. This is for sure on that. This is for sure. So we're waiting for the other two folks to call in.
I guess Ben and Emily.
Okay. Dominic,
I'm here, fellas. Good morning.
good morning.
Good morning.
Dominic, real quick.
Am I coming in clear enough?
Oh, you're great.
Yeah.
Can you give me just a little
Okay,
bit of
good.
air boost? That's better.
Okay, cool.
Dominic, can I get your last name, or do you not want me to use your last name?
No, you can use it. I don't care. Yeah, it's fine. Last name is Wyckoff. It's Wyckoff as in Frank Wyckoff.
Okay. I like to give you guys credit, so, and I guess we're still waiting on Emily.
Emily won't be joining us. She's
okay.
just the one that's scheduled.
Okay. So just be you two. I'm doing my show notes so that I don't screw it up. That's the problem with being 63 years old. You tend to forget things. All right. I've got a little thing that I go through with folks that we interview, if that's all right, that kind of explains the show, that it asks some questions of you so we can set up to put you in your best light, as well as some of the rules of podcasting, so you don't inadvertently step on your own toes. It's not worried about us. We're more concerned for you. So is that okay?
Yep.
Sounds
Okay.
great.
All right. You probably know I'm Kevin Powell. I'm a retired engineer, 40 years of engineering experience, mostly in construction, heavy military, but I've also been working on cars and vehicles of every size, shape, and everything from antique tractors, Jeeps, obviously, and that. Scott, my cohort, is actually a parts guy in a major dealership.
27 years experience.
So we both come by this from the bloody knuckle perspective, and we're really excited to get a chance to talk to you guys directly.
Right on.
Without taking away your surprise, I can do surprise really well. Your product, do you care to tell me, is this new product, new tech? I want to lead in correctly.
Correct. It's really both. So it is new product as well as some new technology, and Ben is going to be the one that kind of walk you through all those pieces.
Great. Okay, that helps me a lot. And Ben, you're the senior project manager. Dominic, what is your title, or do you care?
President.
Oh, wow.
Well, I suddenly got really nervous. Good
Let's get
morning.
the boss man on here.
No, that's That's awesome. So I can not only a new product, but a new product with some new technology kind of thing, and that's great. I'll let you pop that. Anything you want us to emphasize as we're going through this? Anything we should kind of specifically ask questions about? Otherwise, as an engineer, I'm going to ask you all kinds of weird little things, and there will be other corollary to this. But is there anything you want us to emphasize?
I think the fact that just we're known as an enthusiast brand.
Okay.
And I think that that's really keeping us true all the way since 1963 and being American-owned entity.
All right, well, that's a good one.
Inception. I think those are very, very important to us.
Okay. Anything you want us not to ask you or to focus on? Just that's the corollary question.
Yeah, depending on how much you read the trade, there was just a merger and acquisition announcement. Our parent company is Cooper Tire and Rubber, who is being acquired by Goodyear.
Okay.
And I would prefer not to get into those topics if that was on your list.
No, it was not.
Nope.
And I usually don't deal with that. This is focused to the enthusiast. We have several, well, by the time this releases, there'll be probably between 3,000 and 4,000, people who will be going, oh my God, something new.
Well, I have a quick question. Coming from the parts side of it, and just because we literally just released a show that came out yesterday, which was Don't Blame the Counter Person, we are experiencing a lot of issues with back-ordered tires because of obvious reasons between container shipments and manufacturing. So we plead with our listeners to be patient with these manufacturers. We prophesize, call the manufacturers, talk to them, get in a line of open communication and say, hey, what are the specs? What are the things I need to do? So did you want us to also kind of steer away from the idea of back orders or stuff like that? Because we do kind of press the issue of maintaining communication with the manufacturer. Do you want us to kind of let you guys handle that, or that's a no-fly zone?
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter to me. I'm perfectly comfortable answering that. And I think the key focus for us is we're not one of the manufacturers that are depending on offshore. 100% of our light truck products are built here in the United States.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that we don't have back orders, because we do.
Yeah, you have supply
but I have
issues
no problem
probably.
answering that question directly.
Okay,
cool.
All right.
Exactly. We have a great problem. We have 3 to 4 times the normal run rate of demand, and we do our best to fill those as quickly as we can.
Okay.
Awesome.
So, Scott, you may want to do that as a kind of a reach back to the previous show kind of thing. That's up to you, but I wouldn't dwell on it.
No. Just a quick little, hey, if you have a question, call them kind of scenario.
All right. Now, Scott said in the email you've got you're looking for your press release around the 5th. Now, this show is technically scheduled to air on the 15th, 10 days later. Is that a problem? Would you like us to do an early release of show? We can kind of do that if you want. Otherwise, we'll release it on our regular date of the 15th.
Yeah, I would think that an early release would either make sense, or we find another way to craft this, because I wouldn't want it, 10-day-old information to feel like we kind of missed the boat there.
No, as long as you're okay with it, we can go, hey guys, hot news, brand new. We're releasing the show early to make sure you guys, our listeners get it first on the day. So.
Yeah, and it is okay, because in the show notes, every time we speak to a manufacturer, we always put the website information in the show notes. Also, when I upload Instagram, so it's okay to tag you and add those show notes with your website information. Correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Cool.
Last couple items.
And even if it's not, no one can yell at me. I said, even if it's not, no one can yell at me.
Touche. One of our rules for your protection is no pricing information, no discount information on the show, please. Podcasts are forever. Once we put this on Libsyn, it's hanging out there, and the last thing you want is 3 years from now somebody coming to you, oh, I heard about this and said if I use this promo code. So we will give you an opportunity. In fact, we'll usually ask you is, okay, if people want to find out more like pricing, sizes, stuff, how do they get a hold of you? And that's the way we usually do it. So we don't recommend anything about, things are $150 per type thing, because that comes back to bite you.
Yeah, we don't.
Okay.
Cool.
We're never in that business.
Awesome.
Gotcha.
Awesome. Well, I bring it out because others are.
I understand that.
And then last, as we end, don't worry, we will be coming to you, as I said, with a opportunity for you to say any last closing words. If they want to get a hold of you, we'll ask you, how to get a hold of you. That in your own words, you can say, reach us. We're best by website. We're best by phone. We're best by email. Whatever you want to say. So I'll let you know that you'll have that opportunity.
Also, one last thing, being the editor of the show, because we did an interview with Chip from Ox Lockers, and halfway through the interview, he kind of choked up a little bit and basically wanted to get a mulligan and looked at me with deer in the headlight looks. It's easier to do that when you're face to face. So if you guys misspeak and want to stop, please feel free to say, "Hey guys, give me a mulligan. Let me go back, and then I'll mark the time code so that way I can edit that out what you don't want if you misspeak or if you think later. Oh wait, I just remembered this. Let me know, and then I can splice and edit and put things and make you guys sound awesome. Okay?
Sounds great. Thank you.
Cool.
All right, now one last technical thing on my end. Scott, get your headphone set untangled from your microphone cord so you don't pull it off again.
Oh yeah, hold on, guys. It was a president comment that got me all worried now. My palms are sweaty.
Yeah, forget that. Hey, listen, man, I wear T-shirts and Vans to the office every day. I'm about as unpresidential as anybody's ever been.
Well, see, being the slapstick parts guy, I'm like, okay, are you wearing Chevy 1500 Vans on your feet, or are you wearing the Econoline? Sorry, I just... Yeah, that's what you're dealing with. I'm a parts guy.
The truth is I'm sitting here in shorts.
It's 40 degrees here, and so am I.
All right.
All right.
Are we ready to roll? Let's just kind of lead in. We'll do the show intro and all that stuff later, Scott. So let's go ahead.
Let's go right into it.
How do you want to open this one? I just want to ask you what your thoughts are.
I think the best thing would be, like you talk about breaking news, and lead in with the, hey, we got some really important news, blah, blah, blah. You're the wordsmith.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the sound effects guy.
Unless it's your topic, I know.
Fair enough.
All right, so I just want to make sure. So we have Dominic Wyckoff, president of Mickey Thompson, and Ben Anderson, senior project manager, with us with some new breaking news about a new product with some new technology. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
All right.
Sounds good.
Cool.
We'll have a moment or so of clear air just so that Scott has a clean spot to splice to. Okay, as we mentioned, we are now here with Mickey Thompson, President Dominic Wyckoff, as well as Ben Anderson, Senior Product Manager, and they're going to tell us all about this new product and new technology. Welcome, Dominic and Ben, to On the Trail with Kevin and Scott.
Howdy.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Awesome. So this is really cool. We love talking to suppliers, manufacturers, fabricators, people who support the off-road and Jeep business directly. So I can't tell you what an honor it is. I've used your products and still do. And so this is really exciting to talk to you guys directly. What have you got for us?
Yeah, really, we have a brand new product that's going to launch and drop to the market on April 5th. And we just really wanted to take this opportunity to get in front of as many listeners to kind of walk them through and what's new about it and what's the reason to be excited. And Ben's really the one that's going to walk everybody through. And I'm just here to make sure I get out of the way.
Well, we know that style quite a bit here. Although we make more fun out of tripping over each other's feet than being clear and concise. But I think in this case we'll make an exception for Ben. Ben, welcome to the show. I'm going to shut up now and listen all about this because, folks, this is exciting. This truly is the first time that Scott and I are hearing about this new product, and you're listening to it with us.
Great. Yeah, so what we have is the new Mickey Thompson Baja Boss AT, which is an all-terrain hybrid type product. And back in 2005, Mickey Thompson released their first all-terrain hybrid tire, the original Baja ATZ. And what was great about that is, it combined. It was the best of both worlds, right? It combined the on-road performance, the road manners, the tread life of an all-terrain tire with the bold looks, off-road capability and durability of a mud terrain. So, right from the get-go, the Baja ATZ became extremely popular. Several years later, we replaced that with the Baja ATZ P3. And since we launched the ATZ P3, several competitors have kind of come to market with their own versions of this all-terrain hybrid type tire. So, we spent a great deal of time on this thing, understanding, what are the consumer needs, what are the top consumer benefits for a product like this, and expanding on what we already did so well with the ATZ P3 to make an improved all-terrain hybrid that not only is better than our ATZ P3, but beats out the competition as well.
Awesome. So can you explain what's different? I realize it's tough without pictures and graphs. I'm an engineer too, so it's really hard.
Yeah.
But can you kind of explain what a benefit would be to, Joe Jeeper?
Yeah, like basically, if I'm on the fence between a mud tire and a street tire, what would be the difference between, what would this tire benefit between a giant lugs and our street? You know what I mean? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. So this stuff, it can be kind of tricky to talk about, but I'll do the best I can here to try to explain it. So basically, picture the tread elements that go around the circumference of the tire, right?
Yep.
Now, with maybe a traditional all-terrain, you may have something like 56 tread elements, whereas maybe with a traditional mud terrain, maybe you have like 40, 44, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with this particular product, we actually have about 48 that go around the circumference. So it's kind of like right in the middle there, right?
Okay.
So the tread lug count going around the circumference, kind of right in the middle. And then when you look at a traditional all-terrain, a lot of times they'll have like 5 lugs going across the face of the tread,
mm-hmm.
whereas with a mud terrain, a lot of times you'll have 4. This has got 4 lugs going across the face of the tread. And the other part of that, so there's the tread lug count. So that's kind of like the first part, right? So this kind of falls right in the middle between a traditional AT and a mud terrain. And then there's also the tread to void ratio, okay?
Right.
So where this falls is actually like as an example, it's right kind of between Mickey Thompson's Deegan 38 all-terrain and Mickey Thompson's 3 mud terrain products, the Deegan 38, the Baja MTZ P3, and the Baja Boss MT.
Mm-hmm.
So you have these large surface area tread elements that are going to give you great handling on the highway. You have a ton of rubber contact with the ground. It's going to give you great handling. But then you also have these wide voids for off-road traction and an aggressive look. So there's good reason why these AT hybrid type products have become so popular because it truly does combine. It's the best of both worlds.
Awesome. And then I'm guessing you've got a pretty good angle on your tread block. So how's it handle as far as ejecting mud and debris out of the tire?
Oh, really well. Yeah, like I said, it's got wider voids to it, so it's really going to help sling that mud, throw it out of the tread, and many different biting edges. As a matter of fact, this tire here actually has an asymmetric tread pattern. So like our Baja Boss MT, the tread pattern is asymmetric, so it's not directional. It's asymmetric. So we have these big, massive elements on the outside that's going to give you really good stability on the highway. But then when you move inboard, there's actually twice as many elements on the inboard intermediate strip compared to the outboard intermediate strip. So that, again, that's going to give you additional biting edges. That's going to give you good off-road traction. But it's also going to help, the way we have it distributed, it's going to help quiet this thing down. And it's also going to help give it a really, really nice boost in all-weather performance.
Awesome.
And I know that all-weather performance it's not the top thing on everybody's list, but certainly as we know, you can be any part of the country and encounter some severe weather from time to time. So it's good to know that you're going to have that all-weather performance capability when you need it.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, all sizes 1250, 315, and narrower in this Baja Boss AT are actually 3 Peak Mountain Snowflake certified.
Oh, I was going to ask that question. That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the first time we've had a tire with that certification, so we're really excited about it.
Oh, that's great. Hey, one other question from those of us down here in the liquid snow variety land. How's the water handling?
Oh, it's great. It's great. That was actually one of the strongest things with the Baja ATZ P3 was the wet performance, the wet handling, wet braking capability. And a feature that you'll see pretty often in premium UHP tires and even some of the premium all-terrain tires is silica usage in the tread.
Mm-hmm.
And Mickey Thompson, we actually, in our premium all-terrain and mud terrains, we use silica reinforced tread compounds.
Okay.
That's going to be something you're going to see very infrequently used with an all-terrain hybrid or a mud terrain. It's kind of a premium component, but it's going to yield some really nice performance benefits. And again, it's going to give you great wet handling, great wet braking characteristics. And this thing it's a rock star when it comes to that.
Okay, because what I'm looking at is those of us in the Jeep world, particularly the ones running around in the Wranglers, in my case, the TJ, the small ones, I'm very lightweight, and that tends to be a problem, without a lot of pressure to keep the tread down and push water out. I'm always looking for that tire that's got good water ejection capabilities, because here in Florida, it's very, very common for us to get rainfalls and have an inch and a half of water on the road. I do slow down for it, but hydroplaning is a big deal. And the same thing, to hear that a tire can handle that as well as go up into, say Pennsylvania, Ohio, and that region. I would assume, being in Ohio, you're fairly familiar with that white version of water that falls on the ground and hangs around for a while, huh?
Oh, yeah. we get it all up here, that's for sure.
So how about...
Kevin, if I could add too.
Go ahead.
Kevin, what I was going to make sure that I point out is, we don't view ourselves as a tire company. We view ourselves as a traction company. And the degree of traction that you want is going to determine which product you select in our portfolio. But it's really important that we make sure that we hammer that home. This is about traction, and that's what we pride ourselves on.
That's awesome.
That was actually a question I had for our new listeners that we have. They're just getting into the Jeep world and off-road community. When you mentioned the 3 Mountain Peak and Snowflake, what is that for our listeners who wouldn't know what that means? What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, the tire is severe snow service rated. For traction. Basically, it's a traction test. It's a winter traction test, and it's been one of those ones that it was a goal. It was one of the top consumer. Yeah, excuse me. One of the top consumer benefits for this product is severe weather traction, and we nailed it with this thing. It's a test that we have to perform with the product, and our goal was to meet it. And not only did we meet it, but we beat it significantly. And we're actually gearing up to test our 1350 and 1550 sizes in this line as well, to see how they do with the severe weather traction. If we're able to get it on every size, that'd be absolutely awesome to have 3 Peak Mountain Snowflake on a 1550 wide tire.
Yeah,
we'll see, but like I said, it's a beast in the winter conditions. That's for sure.
Hey Scott, I'll chime in on that. Okay. The 3 Peak Snowflake, I can't even say it too quickly, came about as a determination on roads in the north where chains were required. And it came out as this tire doesn't need chain. It will get you through the material, the snow and severe weather without chains.
Okay.
So that's basically where it came from. Was in the old days, you used to have the narrower treads, the narrower tires, and you'd have a lot of accidents. And so you had certain roads that after a certain time or with a certain number of inches of snowfall, you were not allowed on that road without chains. And if you were caught on it, you could actually lose your license if enough. So the tire was developed by the
rating.
The rating was developed in accordance with manufacturers who said, look, I can make a tire. Back then it was a snow tire that can do this, And it first came out, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I believe it was when we first came out with studded snow tires, they could actually be with studs rated not needing chains. And so that's kind of where it grew out of.
Okay.
So, sorry.
Yeah, so we actually, a number of years ago, we actually looked at doing a Mickey Thompson, like a dedicated winter tire. And we spent some time looking at it. We're like, you know what, we need this thing to really kind of perform in all conditions, not a dedicated product. A lot of times you can increase the tread pitch count and load the thing up with siping, but then, a lot of times with that you can lose some of your handling capability and certainly some of your off-road performance and some of your bold looks as well. So,
gotcha.
and just that all-around traction that Dominic was talking about. So we decided to put our efforts into, hey, let's take our all-terrain hybrid and let's make that thing so it can achieve 3 Peak Mountain Snowflake certification. So we were able to do that, which is awesome. So,
yeah, that's incredible.
Like I said, it's yeah.
So, hey, Scott had another question for you.
Well, actually, basically, when it comes to Jeeps, a lot of times we're putting like D and E range tires on our Jeeps because they look cool. What low ranges and sizes are you guys going to offer in these things?
So this is kind of one of the cool things about Mickey, what we started doing a few years back, where a lot of our competitors will they'll throw just immediately throw a load range E or throw load range F on their sizes and expect everyone under the sun to run them on their applications. For several of our performance, like the popular performance aftermarket sizes, like your 33 1250 17, 35 1250 17, 33 1250 18, 35 1250 18, etc. What we've done is we've actually created two versions of basically the same size. Mm-hmm. So we'll offer a flotation version that has a lower load on purpose for these lighter duty applications like the Jeeps, the half tons, Tacomas and stuff, etc. And then we'll offer a LT metric version that has an increased load. Basically, the two will have nearly identical dimensions, but the one carcass is kind of built to handle load carrying capacity, whereas the other one is built maybe for a little more flex, right? Reduce weight. So whether you're getting on that on-ramp in your TJ or whatever, or you're climbing over a rock, you have reduced weight tire. You're kind of freeing up some of the energy in that carcass, and you're allowing that thing to perform better than you would if you just threw like a big overbuilt tire on your rig. So just as an example, like our 33 1250 18 carries a 118 load, mm-hmm. whereas our 305 60 18, which is essentially the same size tire, carries a 126 load, which is the highest load that any 3/4 ton or 1 ton truck comes with today.
Wow.
So again, one is geared more towards that lighter duty application, and then the other one's more geared towards like your 3/4 tons and your 1 tons. And that does not have anything to do with the durability of the product. All of our Baja Boss AT sizes feature our PowerPly XD construction, which is a little different than the other 3-plies on the market. Basically, what we do is with a radial tire, basically your plies take the shortest path possible from one bead up over the sidewall, across the tread, down the sidewall to the next bead. They take the shortest path possible.
Yep.
Unlike a bias ply tire where the plies are actually laid in a cross pattern. They're much longer.
Correct.
Okay?
Yep.
So what we've done is with our PowerPly 3-ply, we have 2 plies that take the shortest path possible from bead to bead, and then our 3rd ply is actually laid on a biased angle. What that's going to do is that's really going to help with puncture resistance. That's going to help give you quicker reaction to steering inputs, and that's going to help give you more stability too. So, a lot of folks think that the PowerPly is just for off-road durability, but when you have your lifted, your leveled Jeep, pickup, whatever, and you're doing a lane change on the highway, when you've got that tall sidewall, you want that thing to react as, quicker, right? You don't want it to be super sluggish. So it's gonna help give you a crisper reaction, and then, more stability once you complete your maneuver as well. So, and then the PowerPly XD, that's actually taken PowerPly to the next step. It's actually got a 50% heavier denier 3rd ply in it, which again is going to give you even more durability, even better controllability, and quicker reaction and more stability on the highway. So kind of a neat feature, something that's a little unique from our competition, but that's the PowerPly XD 3-ply sidewall construction.
That's cool. You've really tried to kind of, to coin a phrase, stiffen the marshmallow a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know I'm only running 33-inch tall tires on my TJ for that very reason, that if I went to 35s or larger, the handling was just unacceptable to me. Let's put it that way. So that's kind of really a neat idea. I commend you guys for taking the time, energy, and money to develop this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jeep enthusiast is a huge part of our business, and we just couldn't follow the competition and just throw big loads on everything. We wanted to have sizes dedicated specifically for those Jeeps and those half tons out there to give the consumer a better experience. Like I said, quicker reaction. It's easier on your braking system, less wear and tear on your suspension components. In a lot of cases, it'll be lighter weight. In some cases, it's even cheaper to manufacture as well. So. There may be slight differences in the dimensions, but they're going to be very close between the reduced load flotation and the increased load LT metric size. And we do that with 2 sizes in the 17s, 2 sizes in the 18s, and 1 size in the 20s. So 10 sizes in total. We do that.
Wow! That's a lot of molds you have to fabricate.
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah. So now, if our listeners who obviously, play in the dirt quite frequently.
Yeah.
Want to get hold of you or get more information. Where do they go find this information?
So we've got some great stuff on our website. We have FAQ, frequently asked questions, and then we also have a tech bulletin section as well, where we have basically, like when I talk to people, if you read all of our tech bulletins and our frequently asked questions on our website, you'd probably be able to answer 90% of the calls that we get in on our tech line. I mean, it covers a lot of stuff. There's a lot of neat stuff in there where you can kind of learn about the product. But also too, I mean, we have staff that's dedicated to answering questions of enthusiasts Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, here out of our Ohio office. And one of the biggest things that we do for the consumers and for installers is we'll calculate revised inflation pressures for folks.
Oh,
you can't expect that a 35 1250 17 is going to carry the same weight with the same pressure as like an OE, LT. 255, 75, 17 or whatever. So, what we ask is if you can provide your OE tire size, your OE inflation pressure, which is listed on your vehicle placard, like on your door jamb.
Yep.
And then tell us your new size. We actually use the Tire Rim Association handbook or the ETRTO handbook to calculate the ideal on-road inflation pressure for your rig. Then obviously if you're going off-road, set it to the pressure that works best for you, but on-road, we can tell you the right pressure to run in those things.
It'll keep your sidewalls where you need them to stay rather than squirming all over the road. Again, what is the actual website? Is it www.
Yeah, MickeyThompsonTires.com.
Okay, Mickey Thompson Tires. I wasn't sure about that. So that's great. So folks, to our listeners out there, MickeyThompson.tires, the contact information, the FAQ, all of that stuff will be out there. I'll throw this to our listeners. Whoever gets the first set and wants to call us back with firsthand information, we'd love to know how it goes. I'm sure it's going to be great from what I'm hearing because, guys, I've studied tire construction in the past. This is some pretty neat stuff that they're doing here, and I know a lot of stuff was thrown out there that may not ring true to the when he starts talking about the denier of the cabling and that stuff, but it all has to do with how the tire performs. And I will guarantee you, from my point of view, he's talking some really neat stuff.
He's talking engineer speak. Real quickly, so because of our last show, we just talked about supply chains. And information like that, and we prophesize talking with contacting the manufacturers and talking with them. You guys are getting ready to release this tire during where sometimes supply chains may be a little bit of an issue, but you guys are American made and owned in the whole 9 yards, right? So you guys are good to go on that front.
Yeah, correct. And obviously, no one's ever going to bat 100% when it comes to availability all the time. But our supply chain team has done an amazing job of navigating these unprecedented times that all of us find ourselves in. So we're very, very proud of what our availability is. While we know there's still some challenges that exist, we absolutely are outperforming our competition in that front.
Okay. Good. Now, you guys sell through retailers, through web. How do people get your tires? I mean, I know I've seen them in different places. So do you have a dealer network, or how does that work for folks that are interested in the make?
Correct.
So they can find that information, their local information from your website, or how do they find that out?
Yeah, correct. So we have a dealer locator that you can go to MickeyThompsonTires.com and you can put in your zip code and it'll show up all the authorized Mickey Thompson retailers in your area. But we also have a very expansive distribution network. So it's virtually, I would say, it's virtually impossible to not find availability if you go onto the website to find it. So.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what I didn't say was the same day.
No, I understand that.
One of the things, well, because one of the things that we absolutely pride ourselves on is we're not an oversaturated brand, and we have been very selective on how we go to market and who we go to market with, and we think that that really preserves the integrity of the brand. And since 1963, we've taken that same approach to the market.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And I know Scott can speak for being the front guy many, many times. The axe or the praise both fall on the guy who's handing you the product.
Absolutely.
I have one last technical question to throw back to Ben, and this one's a little harder, but it's a little more. When you guys have been doing your testing and stuff like that, one of the biggest challenges that a lot of the Jeepers find, because we are running in a lighter chassis, is a little more sensitive to balance, and the fact that as tires wear, balance can shift. How has the balancing issue been with these tires? Are they pretty uniform in their balancing? And I'm not saying perfect, because there's nothing like a perfect tire, but they're not requiring 40 ounces of lead on one side kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. These tires are high quality product, and we stand behind that. We actually, if the tire takes more than 1% of the weight of the tire, then we will work with the consumers to get the tires back and get them changed out. But that happens very infrequently that we have to deal with that.
Well, no, I'm glad to even hear that you're bringing that up.
Yeah, and something that it comes down to a lot too is the practices used to mount the product. Just ensuring that everything is done correctly. Ensuring the beads are lubed, ensuring the barrel of the wheel is lubed completely, except for the drop center area. You don't lube that.
Yep.
And then mounting the tire up, taking it to the max pressure, and then taking it just so the beads can be completely set in the bead seats of the rim, and then taking it down to running pressure, and then balancing the product. What we've seen before is that folks they'll maybe throw a little bit of lube on the beads, toss it on the rim, take it to 35 psi, and said it's done, right? Yep. And then they'll go to balance the tire out, and they'll go drive down the road and be like, "Hey man, this thing's shaking my guts out. What's going on?" And what we found is we actually had an installer that had a few tires. They said, "Hey," so we actually went down there with Hunter, the tire machine and balancer company.
Yep.
And we took a look. We just wanted to see what their practices were for mounting everything up, and we found out that all it was, there was two things they weren't doing. One thing is they weren't lubing the barrel of the wheel. They were just lubing the beads of the tire, and then they weren't taking the tire to max pressure when they to seat the beads. They were just taking it to like 30, 35 psi and said it's done. When they did those two things, which granted that takes a little bit of extra time, right? Maybe, 20, 30 seconds or so, depending on your equipment or whatever. But taking those two extra steps, every one of those tires that they wanted to send back came in well within the limits of the balance. So a lot of it comes down to you taking those extra steps and making sure that everything's getting mounted and balanced correctly. But we absolutely do stand behind the product.
Now that's some great information, and I hadn't actually thought about that. But now that you've mentioned that, we may have a show topic on that very thing about properly mounting these tires, not just yours, but all of them, because if it doesn't seat correctly and then reseats itself somewhere during the drive, it'll continue to shift balance constantly until it finally finds its home. So that is some awesome information. Thank you, Ben.
As you're saying this, I literally flash back to employees at my work, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what we do. And we just bought a brand new Hunter machine too. And wow, I may be having a talk with our shop foreman when I get back to work on Monday.
So that is awesome. Thank you very, very much, Ben. Well, Dominic, Ben, anything else you guys want to add?
Yeah, there's. I could probably talk about these tires for hours. You guys don't hear me talk forever, but I do have a few things I do want to mention. So with the Baja Boss AT, we actually put a 50,000 mile treadwear warranty on this tire, which is huge for this all-terrain hybrid segment.
Yeah.
It's very strong, and if folks are on the correct pressure, they make sure that their suspension components are all in great working order. Their trucks aligned, Jeeps aligned, whatever. We fully expect folks to get far more miles than 50,000 out of these things. But, we have a 50,000 mile warranty on all light truck sizes. The side biters on this thing are actually 150% deeper than the side biters on the existing, the Baja ATZ P3.
Man.
So they're huge. So not only is it going to give you a bolder look, but it's going to give you more off-road traction. It's also going to give you more protection in that area of the tire. And then finally, of course, all of these Baja Boss ATs, like all Mickey Thompson light truck tires, are made in the United States, and we're an American-owned company too.
That is awesome. And Scott and I both have experience with the side biter. Remember our trail climb in Georgia? We went up a log drag that had rained out, and you had to use the side biters. There was nothing but air under the flat tread, and we climbed the side of about, I'd say, an 800, 900-foot vertical. And it was the first time his wife ever drove one.
It would have been nice to have bigger side biters, not going to lie.
She did drop in the hole. We shouted, pull in your mirror, pull in your mirror. And at the last minute, she's like, why? Just do it. She did as she slid into the hole. But we got her back out again. So I can personally attest that side biters are worth it. Bigger is better.
Yes.
Right on.
So, all right. Well, guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. This is fantastic. Great information. I look forward to seeing this product. And I also look forward to hearing from our listener base out there. As I said, any listeners out there who get the set of these and put them on, take them out and basically beat them up a little bit and let us know how you like them. Given my past product history with some of the Mickey Thompson products, I expect good news.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well,
right on. Great talking with you, fellas. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you again. And we will, of course, in the show notes, listeners, we will put the website information to Mickey Thompson and links, if we can, to the product page when it comes up. Since this is being released on the same day that this product is being released, expect a little backlog on the website access. I'm sure it'll be kind of busy. Or at least I hope so for Dominic and Ben's sake.
As we always preach, patience. Patience is key, guys.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you again. I think that'll wrap up this interview.
Perfect.
Cool.
Have a great
Take care.
day. Thank you, guys.
All right, man. Hey, guys. So honestly, I have to debrief and thank both of them really quickly. And what was really cool is that it's kind of cool that the president themselves believes so much in a product, they reach out.
Yeah.
They take the time to get in front of the phone and the microphones and and stand behind their product so much. And that was really cool that they did that.
That was. We apologize for a little bit of the latency in the equipment here. You guys probably heard that sometimes the speech is overlapped a little bit, but we found out after your part of the show got over and we were doing a little debrief with them, and I'll have to really comment, Dominic, Ben, incredible if you guys see this. You were just the same post-interview as you were during the interview.
Yeah.
It kind of tells. But no, they were on a couple of, I may have been on a speakerphone or something like that, or two phones, but multiple cell phones into a call center, into a cell phone, back into a board, into a recording system. Yeah, I felt like part of the time I was watching one of those old Japanese movies where the mouth keeps running.
Yeah. The cool thing is the information's there.
Oh,
and
wow.
It sounded really good.
Wow.
And I'm actually really thoroughly impressed with not only the fact that they talked about they do the pressure chart for you.
Yes, they will help you, if you want, figure out the correct running pressure for your specific vehicle.
Yeah.
And if you go back and listen and watch, if you're a Patreon, watch the video again or listen again to the podcast, pick up the pieces. Great information about mounting tires correctly.
Yeah.
I think we're going to do something that we're going to go back to that again, because they found that a lot of problem with balancing has to do with the installation of the tire on the rim, not the tire construction, design, etc. So that's some really neat stuff, and I will be getting in with the Tire Industry Association myself to see if we can get a show notes out of that so we can better educate you guys.
Well, that's one of the cool things I found out, because it kind of made sense, because when we get vehicles off the car carriers, and they're inflated to max pressure for two reasons now that I realize. First reason is because they don't want a flat spot in the tire.
Correct.
And two, probably to make sure that bead is good and seated.
good and seated. So anyway, I think we need to do kind of a abbreviated run out to the garage, since this interview was really good. And what?
No, I have the email.
Oh,
I just don't want to hold it next to the board in case it goes.
Okay. Well, go ahead and deal with your email.
Well, no, you would go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what Scott's talking about is the garage segment's going to be very brief. We have an email from a listener with a question, and why don't you go ahead and paraphrase?
Well, I'll paraphrase it. Basically, Rich just is concerned, or he's looking at getting a new Jeep and looking at a 2021 JL 4-door, and was thinking about the Rubicon and 2.5 inch, 35 or 37 inch wheels and tires, and want to know if this would be great for daily driving. Would the Rubicon fit that bill? Well, you're going to know what my answer is going to be. Absolutely, get the Rubicon.
Yes, and that's Scott. And he asked about tire sizes, right?
Yeah, 35 and 37s.
And I've got to give you the honest technical answer that I can give at the moment.
Yeah.
Jeep in the JLs has been playing games with the axles.
Yeah.
Right. We know that the return of the Dana 30 and 35s in the non-Rubicon models, and the 44s have been modified. What was it, with a smaller ring gear but a larger tooth contact pattern?
But apparently that's one of the things I read,
So I can't tell you honestly that stronger or not stronger, weaker or not weaker. I'm not really thrilled with the return in the stock forms to the 30 and 35, although they're not the same 30 and 35 in the TJ years.
Yeah.
But we are seeing, unfortunately, Jeep, if you're listening, after Jeeping with Judd, the local shops here have seen an enormous number of trashed front and rear gear sets. They did not stand up to trail very, very well. I don't know the particulars, so I can't tell you that it's a bad gear or not, or if it's the abuse the owners were giving.
Yeah.
But they are smaller, and you got a very heavy vehicle.
Yeah.
Now, as far as 35s, they should be fine on Rubicon, because Rubicon comes stock with 35s in many cases.
Well, 33s, but it's designed for 35s.
They're designed for 35s. It's an optional. I know I've seen guys, or the dealerships are putting them on. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they should be good to 35s. 37s, I don't know.
Yeah.
Insufficient data at this point on the longevity of it. So it's just going to be one of those things that we're going to have to learn.
Yeah, one of the things that you'll see everyone post the pictures of, you see it with the Jeep, the front end split in half. You know what I mean? Because the center axle disconnects back.
Yep.
And everyone's like, well, that's a weak point in the axle, and it is. So are there things you can do to strengthen that? I don't know. I haven't really done a whole lot of research because
it's new.
It's new, and honestly, I'm not there yet with the Gladiator.
Yeah.
When I get to that point with the Gladiator, if I get to that point with the Gladiator, I'm going to do my research. But I walked in knowing it had a center axle disconnect. I walked in knowing that the Gladiator or the Rubicon comes with the wide track axles, which are stronger than the typical Rubicon on the JLs anyways. So what the difference is, I don't know exactly, but I'm still learning too. So by all means,
the market hasn't taught us yet exactly what real world is, and I'm pretty sure the guys at Jeep Chrysler are watching the results pretty closely too.
Yeah.
And before you start flaming Chrysler for this, understand that the cost of a new JL and the cost of a Gladiator has gone up dramatically compared to what it cost to buy my TJ. And you guys are all screaming that you want it cheaper. They're trying to answer both questions or answer both challenges. I want my Jeep, but I want it cheap. And those two don't equal each other too often.
I have to put an asterisk on that because we covered it on a show. I was actually talking with a person at work literally yesterday, and about this because the new Z's coming out with a $37,000 price point, and everyone's losing their mind saying it's too cheap, whatever. And we started talking pricing on cars about how expensive they are, and I made the comment. I said, "Well, my TJ brand new is about what a new Jeep goes for right now," and he goes, "How is that, Scott?" And we found the window sticker. $25,000 is what my LJ cost, properly equipped with what I have now.
Right.
$25,000 in 2005. You go to inflation.net or whatever the calculator. My Jeep now is $32,000.
Right.
Guess how much a Wrangler 2-door Rubicon is starting price, $34,000. So it's only gone up by $2,000 at this recording. Now, I did base model, stick shift, and did all that, and two-door. Now, of course, the four-door are more expensive, so is the other things, but you can almost get a Sport. I think the Sports were like $32,000, so it's like $2,000 less. Maybe that's what we were looking at. But the point is, though, is that inflation has kept things steady. So
relatively speaking,
but I'm paying with a very large brush.
You are paying because there's technological differences in even the baseline JLs that they have that the TJs didn't have, and that has to cost something. So something had to give for the price to stay, is my point.
Yeah.
So you can't expect to go bigger, heavier, more options, and not have the price go up or something go down, or, somewhere there's got to be an economy and a balance. Otherwise, they can't afford to make, and you can't afford to buy. That's why the ultimate Jeep, whatever your ultimate Jeep may be, always seems to cost more, because very few people are satisfied with a stone stock Jeep.
Yeah.
And the aftermarket wouldn't be here. We wouldn't even have the Sport if it was perfect right from the factory.
Yeah. Well, and that's to answer Rich's question is, again, we talk about it 1,000 times in ways, is what is your end purpose?
Right.
Are you just going to use sand and fire roads here in Florida? Then a Sport would definitely do.
Yeah. And you probably don't even need to change the tires, because, you want flotation in sand as opposed to digging. That's one of the worst things. I learned it the hard way as a young driver many, 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 many moons ago in the dunes of North Carolina. Yes, the legal ones where you can drive. I crossed over the board bridge over the barrier dune and onto the beach, soft sand, with what I thought were appropriate off-road tires, and promptly went down and hard grounded.
Yeah.
And took quite a bit of finagling, airing down to get the vehicle back out until the front tires finally gripped the edge. I mean, I went 20 feet and got stuck because my tires were designed for dirt and mud, and they're diggers. And some tires are designed for diggers, to get down to a hard surface. Well, if you're on sand, which doesn't have a bottom down there anywhere reachable, you're going to frame out before you get traction. Whereas flotation tires, on the other hand, are designed, just as the word would say, to float. And depending on where you're using your Jeep and how you're using your Jeep, you're going to, it's going to make a difference. So if you're using your Jeep to go out and bash rocks, no, the stock axles probably need to be upgraded. If you're going to go out and just go play in the sand, drive on the street, take the kids to soccer practice, they're probably more than sufficient.
Well, again, if you want to lift it and have fun with it and make it your own, by all means, you know what I mean?
That's the key of a Jeep, is make it your own. The friends are stock. Everything else is optional. Or changeable, be a better term. Everything else is changeable.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's the short and sweet of it, because the interview ran long. I'm still impressed with the interview. I'm still looking forward. Folks, I will, just as a last follow-up on that interview, as you heard, they are going to have a booth at Jeep Beach, which is coming up here later this month as of this recording. In 17 days?
Yes.
Countdown. I will be there.
So will I.
And we will find MT's booth and take a look at this tire.
Absolutely.
So...
Well, with that also, too, I did want to tease something. I'm going to actually tease. Yeah, exactly.
You need a little drum roll set on your little toy box there. No, that's not the lead in. I'm talking about the... No,
I'm trying to find it now. No, I can't find the buttons. That's not the button I wanted to hit, but it's very apropos right now. Okay, so basically, we're just going to move on from that. I'm going to read the instructions. See, perfect example. I didn't read the instructions.
You're supposed to label those or something, or give yourself a little map.
I like that one. But the point is that...
Ew.
My board. Nah. But no, one of the things I do want to talk about, though, in all honesty, is we briefly touched about how EV market and everyone's freaking out about the EVs and no gasoline is going to be available and all that. And I actually had a conversation real quickly. I'll be very, very quick with this. Is I said, the vehicle that delivered the EV car burned diesel. The vehicle that supplied the parts to build the EV burned diesel. the vehicles built or that brought the materials to build the building use diesel. You see where I'm going with this?
Yes, I do.
So it ain't going away tomorrow. But my question is Jeep released the 4xe. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what are your thoughts in the Jeep community? Because Jeep talked about putting charging stations in the where the trailheads on some known trails. Mm-hmm. So what is the listeners' thoughts? What do you think Jeep is doing good by an EV? Because I guess it's going to be a 4-cylinder turbo with the EV, and it's supposed to have 400 or 300 something horsepower. 400 foot-pounds of torque. I don't know the exact math. We're going to do some more research on it.
We are. We're going to have a whole show on this.
The whole show, but we want to get your input before we record.
Yeah, we want to hear what you guys think of the concept. Mm-hmm. What do you think about, I'm not going to spill my beans because I've been writing a list. And no, it's not bad. It's not good. It's just a list. So I'm not going to try and lean you one way or the other. But what's your thoughts on it? Send us an email. Send us what are you all on Instagram? I don't know, all
Facebook,
of your little
Insta messages or Facegrams.
Yeah. And let us know what you think. We'd love to have your input as well for the next show.
Cool. And with that, it's time to lock hubs, put the Jeep in 4 low, and hit the trail. I got the slow clap. And make sure to take nothing but pictures, memories, and your trash when you leave the trail, because we want to keep these trails open for our children and our children's children.
That's awesome, Scott.
Why can I remember that but not the intro?
I don't know. All right, folks, have a good one, and we will meet you on the trail somewhere in the future.
Sounds like a plan. Bye. Bye, Patreons.